Sports Video Group's Jason Dachman. We're at the SVG Summit, and I'm with Carlos Jimenez of Univision Networks. Carlos, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
So you guys were some of the pioneers of what has come to be known as at-home production. The idea of locating a control room at home, sending cameras, and then home running those feeds back, producing it at that central control room. Since then, the industry has kind of revolutionized itself, and it's become very widespread. But again, you guys were really some of the first people to do it. So how has that evolved for you guys, and how often are you deploying that model now?
Well, I mean, I think it was up to our production, I'd say our sports group, I would say that if we can do every event that way, they would.
Right.
Honestly, no matter how big, how small. And I'll give you an example is the MLS Cup. So the MLS Cup, we could have just taken a handoff from Fox and just do a unilateral, just put a couple of announcers in the field, and that's it. And we didn't. We opted to take some of their cameras, but do an at-home production because we're at a point that we do it so efficiently and at such low a cost that we could even make a decision like that on the fly. And give it more of a Univision flavor on how you produce soccer. I mean, Hispanics from Latin Americans, soccer is
everything.
Is everything.
Yeah.
So you never. One of the things we learned is that you never show anything other than what's happening on the field, right? So between the announcers being different and that type of coverage, and again, I can't emphasize enough how at home. Like there's no place like home, and like I mentioned that earlier. So when you got everybody sitting in a control room that's very familiar with their environment, from even speed dials on a phone on how to call somebody and ask, hey, how come this is happening, or how come I can't get a hold of this person, or whatever. It's all right in front of you. Now, as far as how I see it evolving, is probably technology will change a little bit. Right now, we're sending multiple cameras down multiple paths. We are already done a couple of games with a single handoff IP, and doing the whole thing on IP. But there's some rudimentary, let's say, things that we've learned.
Principles
that you have to continue to follow, whether it's IP, whether you send it down multiple IP paths or single IP, and those are going to continue to be the same.
The model is there, but the contribution methods are evolving, right? Yeah. Totally. So another area where you guys have always pushed the envelope and continue to do so is use of AR and virtual studio for your studio operations. Always looking bigger, looking fancier, sexier than what actually is in reality for the physical footprint. How has your guys' use of AR evolved as well, and how are you using it today?
So, I think that whole sexy part of it, I got to tell you, that comes from our president of sports, Juan Carlos Rodriguez. He is. We can, the production department can show him, okay, here's how we're going to do this from an AR perspective, and he's like, it's not cool enough. I don't know. So go back to the drawing board. So I think he's really the big driver on that. But it's evolving in a way that we don't only want to see it in the studio.
Right.
So let's take it out on the field. Let's make it a little bit more interactive. Let's put it in places where they're not traditional wide angles of the field and stuff like that.
And melding those two worlds as well with the teleportation, which is one of the cooler developments over the last few years.
Yeah, teleportation has been really interesting for us because we've used it anywhere from bringing coaches and players into our studios, but we've also taken players to award shows. We have a soccer award show that we have every year, and they couldn't make it for some reason to receive an award. Well, yeah, we teleported them into the studio and into the
award show,
the award show, and there he was.
Right.
So it's certainly interesting, and everybody enjoys it. Everybody enjoys seeing it. There's a lot of chat about it on social media as well. So it's all good.
Yeah, it's very cool. Looking ahead, 2019. What are you most excited about? You have some big events coming up during the calendar year. What are some highlights for you?
So we have Gold Cup coming up. And I think we missed it last year, so this year I think we're gonna really get let's say a little bit more excited about it this year, getting it started, and take these technologies that we're mentioning, taking them out there and using them every way possible.
Well, Carlos, I really appreciate you joining us. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
And for more reports from the SVG Summit, stay tuned to sportsvideo.org.